Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. I am Walt, and quite honestly I'm kind of surprised to be here today. I received an inquiry from Vaptio about 6 months ago, and they asked me if I'd care to do a review. I'd pretty much gotten out of reviews, but for whatever reason I said fine. And then I heard nothing from them for about 6 months. So to be honest, I kind of forgot about them completely. In the interim, I pretty much tore down the studio as far as what was necessary to do a vape review, and transitioned that over to a studio for doing online learning. My wife's a teacher, and with the COVID situation the way it is, all the instruction she's doing now is online. So I've been using the studio to produce videos for that. But at any rate, lo and behold, last week I got a package, and it was actually a couple of Vaptio vaping devices. So I'm going to attempt to do my best to do some kind of review for today. Probably won't be up to what the channel's done before. Like I say, I pretty much tore everything down. Close-up's going to be kind of difficult to do. But at any rate, this is the Vaptio Fragg, I guess. Fragg. A little compact unit. Capable, it says of doing 60 watts. I'm in the middle of testing. We'll do some more testing, and we'll find out exactly what it can do. Comes as a kit with a tank with it. Has an internal battery. Some of the specs, 200 milliamp hour battery inside. Okay, at either 5 or 1 to 60 watts, 0.1 increments. Voltage range is like 2.5 or something of that nature to 4 volts, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. It has a little screen on the side of it. I'll show you that. I guess I don't need to talk too much about it. I'll probably talk more about that in whatever I can come up with for a close-up of it. So here it is, our Vaptio Fragg, and next screenshot will be taking a close-up of it. Here's our device up close. The whole device put together at the moment. You can see the tank on the top here, the mod on the bottom. Got some kind of a, I don't know, leather-esque kind of a sticker on here. Makes it feel a little bit like leather. All the way on the back says Vaptio on the back. One side here is blank, and the other side has a screen. You can see that there's a plate that's actually bolted on at the top, and it runs down along the front of this, and there's a space in between the main unit and the plate. So that's a little bit different of a look. It doesn't affect the functions of the buttons. The buttons work fine. You've got the up and down buttons as well as the power button. The Addy is a standard 510 connector. And you can see on the top the connector there and where it's bolted in. It is spring loaded. On the bottom you've got some different designations as well as some venting. Is that true? That is not true. You don't have any venting. So I guess the venting happens maybe around the USB. The USB is a USB-C port. It takes about an hour and a half to charge up from 1 bar if you run it down that far. Okay, so that's the mod itself. We'll show a little bit of navigation here in half a sec. Here's our atomizer. It's got a removable drip tip, which is a 510 standard, so you can use whatever drip tip you like on there. The top of it screws off. And you've got this red, whatever it is, around the outside edges. Some kind of a spacer some kind of a maybe to block the e-juice or whatever. So you kind of it's easy to bend, so you just kind of push your bottle down through that. It moves out of the way, and you can fill it up. The glass will come off. I haven't removed the glass because it's a real pain in the butt to try to get off. The whatever the hell it is. Yeah, it's a coil. The coil has a little loop here, and I may have to pause this and come back or something, because you gotta fish that out of there. I'm gonna take it off camera. Hang on just a second. Okay, there we go. Now I got that loop pulled up. You can see the loop hanging off the top of it. And so now you can grab onto that loop and pop that coil right out of there. You can see the coil. This is a 0.25 ohm coil. It's a mesh coil of sorts. I don't know how much of it you can see or not see, but looking down in there. And then the chimney comes all the way up through. And then to put it back in, you just push it back into place. You got to get it spun in the right direction and pushed all the way down. They say to put in like 5 drops of e-liquid down into the center of this thing, you know, when you first start it up to prime it. And then, yeah, to fill it, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but you push that out of the way, and you get the nozzle of that thing down in there. It's a hoot. And then, yeah, there we go. And then you squeeze. Now, I don't know how full you're supposed to fill this or not fill this. But I end up just making a huge mess with it. It ends up squirting all over, and I got stuff dripping everywhere. So if you're like me, it'd be good to have a mop around. Mop this thing up. And it will get down into the air intake, so you have to kind of maybe blow that out or whatever. Otherwise, if you do put this in your pocket, I mean, it is a size you could put in your pocket. If you do put it in your pocket, it's going to end up all over your pocket. So, safety tip. Okay, so there we go. If I can get the screen to show a little bit. The other side would be better. Yeah, it's showing. Okay, so if I press both at the same time, it'll lock, so you can't adjust it. And it'll say, you know, to press plus and minus together to unlock it. And it'll also flip it if you hold it too long. So I think lock is 1 second, and I think flip is 2 seconds. Well, and that's actually flip and lock. So, okay, whatever. Now, next thing we'll do, I'll click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And here's the modes. We're in variable wattage mode. You have a settings mode. You can hit the fire button and it'll show the different settings. The sleep time, how long it sleeps before it turns off. The vape time, you know, before it times out and quits giving you a vape. And those are the 2 things. So that's set for 20 seconds. So you go in and then you hit it again and it goes away. So, okay, fine. So anyway, those are the settings. That's for the settings. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Hit the right button. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. DW mode. Settings. Bypass mode. You can treat it like it's a mech mod. You have a pre-mode. I don't know what the heck that is for. It's bizarre. I think it's something like 3 to 15 volt or watts of a preheat. So I guess if you want a diminished hit, you can have either a greatly diminished hit or a pretty greatly diminished hit. Considering that the atomizer fires starts really firing well at about 40 watts. So I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's what it does. You got a variable voltage mode. Obviously, you can put in that mode and adjust your voltage instead of your wattage. And then back to variable wattage. And those are your settings. So it's simple. And not a whole lot to have to adjust, not a whole lot to have to play with. It's a simple unit to use. And that's about it for the close-up of the thing. Next thing we'll do is take a look at some of the stats, some of how it performs. Okay, it only took 2 tests for me to find out what I wanted to know about this one. This first test is with a unit with a fresh battery, freshly charged battery, and it's set for 60 watts. I've got a 0.25 ohm load on the thing, and it was able to put out 3.4 volts. That tells me that the max this unit is going to put out is about 46 watts. So everything else from 46 watts on all the way up to 60, no, it just isn't going to happen. You get a larger load on there. Obviously, the most it'll put out is 4 volts. So there again, that's going to diminish your final output in terms of wattage. So yeah, this thing is going to max out about 46 watts, and that's what you're going to get. For the second test, I ran the mod till it was down to 1 bar left of battery, and what I got here was the 2.6 volts, and that is about, well, let me calculate it real quick. 2.6 times 2.6 divided by 0.25. Oh, it's a 0.25 ohm load, by the way. So about 27 watts is all you're going to get out of it at that point. So that told me the rest of the story. This mod does not boost. This mod is basically giving you whatever's left on the battery. So as you use the mod and your battery depletes, your vape is going to diminish as well. So it's as provided by the battery is what you're going to get out of this thing. Okay, so there you have it, the Fragg. It's small. Here it is next to a Paranormal. You can see it's pretty dinky. I think I made a mistake when I first said this. I think I said it was 200 milliamp hours. Oops, sorry, 2000. The air adjustment on the tank, I didn't mention that. It will go down to a single little pinhole. That's a pretty convincing mouth to lung. Not too awful bad. Opened up a little bit. It's pretty noisy. Opened up all the way, it's a lot of air. After you get it filled and mopped up, unless you can figure out a way to fill this thing without making a mess, I couldn't. It doesn't seem to leak after that. It seems to be okay. It provides a decent vape. The battery will last for about 2 tankfuls. That's what I got out of it. The tank only holds 2 milliliters. And it goes pretty fast because I use a mouth to lung. So it doesn't vape for a huge long time. You get some vapes out of it. I suppose you could, like, for, oh God, if you were going to go to some place for just a short period of time and needed to bring a vape with you, this would work out just fine. It will, the Addy on here is something like 23.5. It will accept up to a 21.5. It will accept up to a 22 millimeter Addy without looking hideous. But if you're gonna, use one where you build your own coils, RTA, RDA, whatever, you're gonna have to build it as if it were a mech, because you got to get that resistance down somewhere 2.5 or lower, okay, for that battery to, fire it up in any decent sense at all. It's comfortable in the hand. It is that. The buttons have a nice tactile feel to them. They're easy to use. The ones underneath the adjustments, ones are recessed a little bit more than the top ones, so they're not easy to press accidentally. And I don't know, I'm sure somebody asked some more questions that I didn't even think about um, answering or mentioning in the video. But it is a constant output battery. Again, so as you vape this thing, your vape is going to diminish over time, and then you'll charge the battery when it's diminished to the point where it's no longer enjoyable. So, and oh god, what the hell else was I going to say about that? Um, yeah, and in that regard, it's a lot like a Mac. It's supposed to have a number of different safety, routines into it, precaution routines, whatever. I don't know. It's hard for me to test those kind of things. You're only going to get 47 watts out of this thing. It doesn't give you any indication on the screen that it's under voltage or anything like that. So you can push it all the way up to 60. It'll say 60, and you can vape on it, and you're not going to get 60. It's just the way it is. So anyway, there you have it. The Vaptio, what was it? Fragg. Yes, the Vaptio Fragg. So, thanks for watching.